So Andrew, the subtitle of your book is Uncovering Hidden Revenue in Your Company's Intellectual Property. What is intellectual property, and what does that really mean?
Well, thank you. The subtitle part regarding uncovering hidden revenue we'll come to in a bit in another video, but let's focus on the intellectual property part. In the U.S., as an example, Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution defines intellectual property as including patents and copyrights. So going back all the way to the founding of this country, the founding fathers recognized patents and copyrights as being key strategic assets, so much so to include in the U.S. Constitution. We've since had trademarks and brands added with the Lanham Act in the 1940s, and trade secrets, which is governed by state law. But I don't want you to focus on just the four most well-known categories of intellectual property. Yes, they're important from a legal perspective, but the book really is about intellectual capital, intellectual assets. Intellectual assets are so much broader than just patents, copyrights, trademarks, and trade secrets. For starters, they include things like trade dress, which was recently recognized by the Supreme Court as a fifth category of intellectual property, regarding interior design and trade dress and the flow and feel of retail and hospitality experiences, which may end up applying to the internet as well. But when we talk about intellectual assets, we're also talking about systems, processes, protocols, know-how, show-how, distribution channels, relationships, cultural assets, human assets, training systems. There's so many different types of intellectual assets that if you really unpeel the strategic onion further in your company, you will realize that they are driving the growth of your business. Look at the franchise model, for example. What is really being licensed to hundreds of thousands of franchisees around the world? It's brands, it's systems, it's protocols, it's best practices, it's operations manuals, it's support and training. These aren't things you can touch and feel. These are intangible assets that are driving billions, if not trillions of dollars of revenues every year. For your company not to recognize these assets, to protect them properly, and to harvest them properly is really hurting the future growth potential and value of your company.